Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Pete Wright, and I'm here with Dane Christensen.
Hello.
And Megan Strand.
Hi.
Megan is back.
I'm back from under the rock.
And we are the Naked Marketers. Thanks for joining us this week. Megan, what happened to you?
I was living under a rock for the last 3 weeks.
Seriously, you were.
Pretty
I
much.
hardly remember what you look like.
Here I am.
She's now like the Phoenix rebirth.
She's like the Phoenix. That's exactly right.
So I am going to play amnesia patient today on the show, and you can fill me in on all the great things that have been happening over the past 3 weeks.
That'll be
it's
great.
crazy.
It's like a built-in audience.
That's
built-in
ignorant.
ignorant audience
Really?
member.
Oh.
That's right. Ignorance of the wonders of Facebook. Can we talk about grandmas on Facebook? Whose story was this? Dane, I think this was yours. Tell us about this one.
Right. Is it?
I love the picture. Is that your grandma?
I love that picture.
Oh, she's sweet, isn't she?
She is
That's
sweet.
just a super cool grandma.
It is a hip grandma. That's an
she's
IBM. That picture is an IBM.
Right. That's not a
PS2.
new picture, I don't think.
No,
or that, or this is an impoverished town where they've just gotten leftover computers from other communities.
I actually had that.
I was going to say, I
computer.
think Peter sold me that computer.
I used to play King's Quest series on that computer. I miss it very much. The IBM PS2. That was a great little machine.
It probably put out a lot of warmth.
It did. It was
A lot
not.
of
It was ecophobic. I think is the term.
Keep the room warm. Like you don't need a space heater when you've got a monitor like
no,
that.
You really don't. It was awesome.
I'm sorry,
Little
why are we
suntan
talking
too.
about this picture again?
We are. Yeah, no, this grandma's of the GI generation.
What is that? The Sally Jesse Raphael glasses?
those glasses are throwing you. This is a report from the Pew Internet and American Life Project. They've come up with some interesting data on their most recent study of online behavior and looking at it generationally. I'll tell you. It's the first part. Those 18 to 33, that's Gen Y. They're more likely to use wireless internet, laptops, social networking sites, or participate in virtual worlds. And you're all going to like this one. But for the older folks from Generation X on up, it's the first time I've heard older folks and Gen X in the same sentence. But anyway,
That
they're more
hurts,
likely.
doesn't it? That's smart.
It does hurt. More likely to use online banking or government websites.
Should you say baking or banking?
Yeah, some online baking. It's an interesting project they're doing in the Philippines. What you do is you put your recipe together online and you sort of send an email out and somebody in the Philippines bakes
Takes it and sends it to
and
you.
then sends it back to you.
That's
It's
right.
honestly, it's the greatest.
Flash frozen
gotta be-
buns from the Philippines.
You plan ahead, like tomorrow's meals because the time difference and everything and the mailing, of course. But
That's all they do is like
online
slider
baking.
rolls from the Philippines, though. So
doesn't everyone? I thought everyone did that. Anyway, no, banking.
Thank you.
Miss Megan. The percentage of adults who now here's where it gets interesting. The percentage of adults watching online video up from 52% to now 66%. That's from 2008 to 2010. So in 2 years, 52 to 66% jump. Adults listening to music online, it's over half, 51%. Back in 2004, that was 34%. So it's a big number, but it's a longer time span. And 53% of adults use classified sites like Craigslist, way up from 32% in 2007. And I don't know why those comparison dates jump around all over the place. That seems a little odd.
yeah.
So,
it's not
okay,
really
adults are
apples
using-
to apples, right?
Right, it's
apples to freaking steak.
Wow.
I know. I'm worked up. What? I'm sorry. I don't know where that sailor language came from.
So that data I do think is relevant to share for marketing reasons. One of them is, we're just seeing, and I think this is particularly true in the last year, so much more use and what's the word? I don't know. So much more. Let's call it use and prevalence. How about that? Of online promotional videos, companies using videos in effective ways. There have been obviously some big name campaigns that all jump out at us, but I think, videos, promotional videos showing up in search results, companies jumping in a little bit more there. When they say online videos, I'm sure, Netflix and Hulu are a big part of that number, but But I think that from a marketing perspective, there are a lot of things to look at here and pay attention to. Obviously, something that's been an issue since whatever the 90s, that always gets a little bit better year over year is your online trust of things like using mint.com for all of your finances, that sort of thing. So when you look at these numbers and you see growth, in particularly an older demographic embracing sometimes newer technologies, I think you have to consider the marketing ramifications. For instance, let's see, the fastest growth on social networking sites like Facebook is coming from internet users 75 years of old and older. That usage has quadrupled since 2008.
They got more time.
They got more time, and all their kids are on Facebook. All the babies, the grandbabies.
Well, and tell them what's down, Dane. This is what I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, but probably easily explainable. What is down is teens, I guess. They're calling them teens. I don't know what their age range is there. But only half as many teens are operating their own blog now compared to 2006. The most easy explanation for that is likely, something like Facebook and the fact that instead of sort of long form communication, there's a very short form communication that's much easier, much more accessible, and how that's changing the way we communicate in general, or because that is interesting to think about. I mean, I would look at a lot of people blogging as a good thing from the standpoint of there's a real discipline there, and kind of forces a little more academic thinking or critical thinking to come up with long form blogs. Whereas this very short form messaging, will that influence like marketing messages that we see, for instance, right?
I don't know that those go hand in hand. There are a lot of really crummy.
Oh, I'm stretching.
That's a pretty big stretch. What I think actually is probably a good thing out of this whole blogging is down thing is that as the result of people, as you say, going to shorter form publishing like Facebook, to get their personal stuff out onto the web. The benefit of that is the blogs that are left are better. It raises the overall quality of the
one way to look at
who are doing. I mean, the blogs that I've been reading for a long time just consistently get better and better and smarter, and taken more and more seriously. And I think that's an important connection for me, anyway.
It's the attention span issue.
Has anyone seen them?
Nobody has the attention span to write in long format anymore.
Oh yeah. I hardly had the attention span to remember what you just said a few seconds ago, so I'm sorry about that.
There is an attention span issue.
There is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's left is better, and that's probably a good thing. But, speaking of Facebook, I mean, this is, I think this is fascinating. Sources close to Facebook, this was on Mashable this morning, sources close to Facebook say that the social network is close to reporting revenues of $2 billion for 2010. That's more insane. Than double what the company pulled last year.
That's insane. And Mark Zuckerberg got named Person of the Year.
Person of the Year.
Did agree to give away, half of his?
And he signed the Billionaire Giving Pledge.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Especially after awesome. the
Newark schools thing, yeah.
No, I wasn't going to say that at all. It was the Bernie Sanders, the Bernie Buster. Did you see the Bernie Sanders filibuster on this whole tax thing?
Oh, yeah.
When he brought out the stats of the Walton family and that the death of the estate tax would bring them $32 billion to the family if the estate tax falls. His comment was so beautiful that he said, how much is enough? When is it enough that they have all the money? Is it that they have all the money ever? That's patently insane, he says, which I thought was so great. So then when you see people like Zuckerberg, who, still so young, signing the Billionaire Giving Pledge and saying, I don't need it all. He's been very successful.
Well,
we're going to become a role model for.
He's so visible.
Yeah, being that visible is really a
powerful thing. And he had great comments. I thought that he said it's more common, for people to wait until they're a little older in life before they start giving to charities or giving away some of their wealth. But he's in a position basically to be able to really see and be a participant at a younger age in the ways that he can help the world essentially with the money that he has. So. Right. It's kind of a cool way to look at it. I mean, he's in a very unique position for his age, obviously, but he's not the only one from Facebook who signed the pledge. There are, that company's made quite a few people wealthy, and some good things appear to be happening. So I thought that pledge was kind of exciting news.
Let's go back to the revenue of $2 billion piece, though. As fast as Facebook is growing, there's an interesting thing that I observed this last several weeks. I've been teaching this class at a university here in Portland, and it's a mixed demographic class. I've got a handful of older working adults, and I've got a handful of traditional age students. And one of the assignments, is on the cultural implications of privacy in the digital age. And my example is, if you're a Facebook user, look at the Facebook privacy terms and write me a paper on the implications of privacy, doing your research from current thinkers. And I had what felt to me like an abnormal distribution of people come forward saying, we don't use Facebook, we hate Facebook, we're not using Facebook, we don't want to use Facebook. Why do you think that is?
I think it's one of those I'm so different stances.
You think so?
Well, because it's so popular, so widespread. I don't know. That's my theory.
That there's this sort of
it's sort
cosmic,
of like, I'm not going to do that.
Everybody's doing it.
Say it again.
It's like an identity statement. It's like, I'm not on Facebook. I'm emo.
So you're saying
I'm wearing my bangs low.
I'm wearing all black and black lipstick. I'm not on Facebook.
Say that again, Dane.
It's the younger students who aren't on.
Who?
Is that what you said?
Which of your students were saying they weren't on Facebook?
Oh, yeah, both. I mean, it was older and younger. Now, the older ones, they both had the same stance. They just don't feel.
Let me take back my statement. I think it falls into two camps. I do think there's people that have this identity piece where they're like, this is my identity that I'm not on Facebook. And then there's these other people like my sister who is a prime candidate for Facebook. She's got young kids. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's got stuff going on that she would post. She likes keeping up with her friends. She's very good at that. She's knows it would be a very large task to even open that door, start finding friends, start learning how to use it. So she just is delaying the inevitable. So I think there's two camps.
Yeah, no, I would
my
say
mother falls into that.
One
is
is interesting because there's still room for growth in Facebook, which is what we're seeing in the revenue, that
right.
There are still people out there who just haven't quite jumped on yet.
Exactly.
What were you going to say, Dane? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think for a sort of a post-college age demo, that it's exactly what Megan says. I mean, the friends that I have who are holding out, it's primarily just I'm afraid of the amount of time that's going to take, or how, like, I see, let's say, my wife on it all the time, and I don't want to do that, or I don't want to be hunted down by old high school people that I never really want to see again.
That's such a weak excuse, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Because, and that's the other thing, because I think you're right, Megan. There are kind of these two camps. I think on the other side, Facebook isn't what it used to be. It isn't a sort of a niche little cool place to have just your cool friends. It's a place where your grandma is on there, and your mom and your uncle and your old friends from high school and people you just met last week. They're all on there. What it's become is a utility, a communication utility, probably more than anything else. It's everybody's own little personal website. You can, post pictures. You need to be a little more careful with what you say, because you have now like a broad audience. It's sort of, and it isn't what it used to be. So that I think there are people who if it is seen more just as a utility for everybody, it's not necessarily unique or special. I don't know. Maybe they're a little burned out on the whole thing, but it is, the people who, I don't know. This new format, does everyone like the new format, by the way?
I'm not crazy about it, but have you seen the people who have done the really cool art, like layouts, using the new photo layout to do very cool things with the display of their Facebook profile?
No.
Oh, it's very cool. You know how the pages... Well, I'm sorry. You say your thing first. My thing's totally distracting. And
I was going to say that one thing that seems to have changed dramatically is the ease of finding additional friends. And I literally have 40 new friends in the last 5 days.
Because you're a friendly kind of person, Dane.
Well, it's easier to find others.
Cool.
And, you know what I mean? It's when you start, it's totally different. I think that's one thing. And, the thing you always have to keep in mind, because every time they change, it's sort of like, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm not really sure. I missed something and I don't quite know how to use it. But when I get to know how to use it, then maybe I'll like it better. And I just want to feel like I'm in control. And if I don't feel like I'm in control, you know what I mean? Every time it changes, you just feel like you don't have control until you figure it out. But the big deal, I think, is this ease of adding friends and this ease of sharing information about yourself, the way it sort of does that for you if you've posted things, so it keeps doing that. Well, again, the thing to keep in mind is that they're trying to keep you on there longer. That's why their revenues are double. It's not just that they're adding people, it's that they've sort of added these little features over the year. Most of what they add is if I have more friends, I have more reason to be on. And if they comment, and really anything that will get you on Facebook and keep you there, get you seeing the ads that are part of that experience.
Yeah, that's fascinating that you say that. I was thinking about that the other day in terms of the work that Facebook has done to raise the right people. Have you noticed, when you're looking for new people, the Find a Friend tool is stunningly accurate now.
Oh yeah, they've made all kinds of improvements with that,
and that really does cement keeping your keeping you on the page longer. That is a great observation.
Why? Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're a smart kid. I think it's really interesting. But now on to my totally waste of breath story. Did you see what I just sent you on Skype? The Reface Me link, reface.me/hack/new Facebook profile hack. It is a fascinating little look into how people are using this new Facebook profile to do very cool things with their profiles and make them really interesting and engaging when you get there. I like the one where he's got the Pac-Man. He's looking at the ghost being eaten by Pac-Man across the page.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm excited about this.
Alexandre Houdon has the eyes. His profile picture is a tall picture of his ear, and then his eyes go across the top, looking out those windows.
That is so cool.
Crazy cool.
Yeah,
people are doing some really interesting things with Facebook. I think one of the
that
best
is
ones
very cool.
Joris Yoko Bulkins has a really cool one.
This is really, really cool.
Cynical Grinch.
It's really funny.
It's funny.
I like this one. I don't know who this is, but it's the laying down on the bed, legs in the profile picture and the head off in the.
I know Peter's going to have one of these soon.
I'm going to have to do something.
This is totally you.
It's probably not going to be appropriate. Anyway, so people are doing some cool things, as much as you might not like the new Facebook. But now that it's settled in, have you used the Facebook messaging,
Nope.
integrated messaging? Have you been invited to that yet?
Nope.
You don't have a Facebooky.com email address yet?
Not that I know of.
Well, I think it's really cool. Let me tell you about it.
I'm precisely about 6 months behind you because I just got my About Me invitation yesterday.
Oh, we totally should do your About Me. That's great. You need that. The Facebook messaging is really interesting. It actually works as advertised. Somebody can email me, text me, send me a Facebook message, any number of ways they want to get in touch with me. It all ends up in my Facebook inbox, and that, it turns out, is very cool.
So
I wish that it wasn't just Facebook that was doing it.
Is it an invite only?
They're rolling it out very slowly.
So only heavy users get it first.
I'm not sure if it's at facebook.com/messaging or new messaging. Try one of those, and you can get see if you get an inbox or see if you get an opportunity. It's really interesting
see
when
they've identified you as cool.
Yeah, you may not be on the cool list yet.
It's very possible.
Try messages. Facebook.com/messages.
That's very strange.
Are you trying it?
I tried new messaging and got this guy named Blake Douglas.
No, it's not it. Anyway.
Anyway, it's very cool, and I'll see if I can find that. It is interesting. This integrated inbox is actually an interesting thing, and it works really well. And I wish Google had invented this first, because that's where I have all of my messages right now. And I'm not going to use Pete Wright at Facebook.com. That's not a email address I'm going to check. Although I do like the fact that I can just give that email address out to everybody. The world can have it, and everybody can write to it. But the only people that will actually reach me are my friends. Do you hear me when I say that?
I did say it. That's interesting.
Be loud by me.
But the thing with that though is that does it tell you, oh, sorry, you're not a friend? It's not going to send your message.
Yes.
Oh.
Says you're not on that person's
So it's
list.
almost like top secret email.
That's right. Top secret,
like,
non-secret.
Then you feel
email.
like a big loser if you're like, 'cause it's like DMing someone on Twitter. That always breaks my heart just a little bit when you get that. Sorry, you can't send a DM because this person's not following you.
I know. That's a little heartbreaking.
It's the exclusivity.
So many emotions.
So you found
I found
the
it.
thing.
It's
What is it?
facebook.com/about/messages.
Okay.
And at the bottom right-hand side, there's a little button that just click it and
Request an invite.
and you're done.
So I haven't necessarily seen a great uptick in people beyond, hey, look, Facebook messaging is cool. Most people are still just using, I think, the integrated chat. That's the other thing. If somebody chats you while you're online in Facebook and you're not online or you're away from your computer, it shows up like as a text or on your, in your Facebook app on the iPhone, whatever. It's very cool.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. We've talked about Facebook way too long, so let's talk about Lexus. This is another one of those kind of high jump, low ceiling moments. Lexus is using the Xbox 360 to promote the CG200 hybrid during an all-night gaming marathon for Halo Reach this weekend. All right. So when you think of Lexus, is the first brand you think of Xbox?
Yes.
You are a liar.
No.
Do you know last 2-3 years ago, Lexus had a great campaign where they were trying to really appeal to, I think, the upper crust, and it was these great long form videos. One of them was, we're going to take you into the inner workings of chocolate, and they go and they show these luscious pictures of this just piping hot melted chocolate flowing across these awesome old, in this old monastery on this monks hand loving this chocolate as they roll it into little buns of chocolate love, and then they package it precisely, and then they say at the end of this 4-minute profile video, they say, see how chocolate is like a Lexus. And then the next one will be champagne, and it talks to these champagne brewers, or what are they? Brewers, manufacturers, distillers. What is a champagne?
I don't know.
A champagner, and we're talking about all the bubbles. We love the bubbles. We are in Europe, and we're talking about bubbles. And you see, at the end, bubbles are like Lexus.
Hey, Pete, I got a business proposal for you.
Yes, Dane.
I've got this idea, and I'm all of a sudden really excited about this idea. I want to be your agent, and I want to go out and secure you doing the voice narration for like food. You know what I mean? Like restaurants where you describe eating a burrito or something, and really just pull all the adjectives into that experience and give it that passion and emotion. Like when you sink your teeth into there.
I'm sure there's no competition for that at all.
I could work over a burrito like nobody's business.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you that right now. But let's go. So this is why. So I say all that preamble about the sexy chocolate and sexy.
I want more.
Champagne.
It's entertaining.
Yes.
Keep going. Sorry.
Because now it's Xbox Halo Reach. Oh, how times have changed. Anybody?
Well, okay,
I'm in the same room with you, Megan, and you're totally gone.
I'm trying to decipher this. Like, I just don't understand. Is it because people with a lot of money are now playing Halo, or that are older and typical Lexus customers, or is the Lexus now becoming the Cadillac of?
You know what? I got an interesting point to make here, Megan. This might answer your question. I saw a little JPEG image the other day that somebody had done a screenshot. They were looking for adult diapers. There was like a Snap-on reusable feature to these adult diapers, and you know how Amazon does the product match, and when they match it up, they'll say you can have these two products, for whatever, and it's cheaper price. Well, the product they matched with adult diapers was not World of Warcraft. It was what's the other army one?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty,
Black
World
Ops,
or something like that. It was not
You're
the Black
kidding.
Ops one right before it. Yeah.
Whatever.
So adult diapers got paired with people who liked adult diapers also liked.
Wow.
That's funny.
So I'm just saying,
algorithms are fun.
Well, okay. I suppose I should have read the whole article because it's the hybrid is being pitched to a younger customer than Lexus's other models, and it's being positioned as edgy but eco-friendly.
It is edgy.
That is what Halo just screams, right? Edgy and
exactly.
eco-friendly.
Well, a lot of the planets upon which you are destroying alien life
it's to
are
save
green.
there is some greenness, right? But isn't it to save the world's other worlds?
Yeah, there's a lot of world saving. Yeah.
Like you destroy one planet, to help another.
Right.
I think.
Interesting.
So it's kind of
for cheap labor. It's all for cheap labor. All right. So there's Lexus doing an interesting brand mashup. Be good to see how that plays out. The last one I think that we should talk about before we get into our tool is this unless I've totally missed something that we should also talk about, is this Microsoft adding advertising and tracking blocker to IE9. So the announcement came out. We were supposed to talk about this last week, but we didn't actually wrap our show. So what happened is last week the Federal Trade Commission announced that they want to see a do not track system in place so that advertisers cannot track the sites you visit, sites from which you visit an advertising tracked site and sites you go to when you leave the site that you're on, which is a common practice right now. So in response, or in parallel at least, Microsoft announces that they've added this advertising and tracking blocker so that when I am on a site using IE9 and I turn this on, advertisers will not be able to track my browsing progress on the net. What does that mean, Dane, from an advertising perspective?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know a ton about this. This to me is more of like, oh, that's interesting. Well, hold on a second. If it's going to affect referral sites where a link from another site directs you to a site, and I don't read that into this, that's a critical thing to know. I mean, if I've built links or I have sort of partner sites, and one of them could be Facebook, and if I get business to my site from Facebook, that's important. That's really very important information. I can't imagine this would affect that. Where I first heard about this being used in surreptitious ways was porn sites where I can't remember what they were doing with it, but there was some real concern like a couple of weeks ago that, oh, by the way, there are a bunch of porn sites that are like monitoring your off their site activity. I can't remember what.
Well, they were sniffing cookies.
Who's not doing that? Porn site or not?
There are quite a few sites. It's actually pretty bad form. Cookie sniffing, so or history sniffing. It's browser history sniffing, so you can go in and actually see. Yeah, and it's not that they're looking for all the sites you visited. It's that they're looking for specific competitor URLs in your history to see, where their site stacks up against your history.
Yeah, I mean, if that's more of what this is addressing, then that I don't have a problem with it. But there are things that I really do need to know, like again, the links. So if the link from another site brings you to my site, that would be really bad to lose that data. I have to have that data.
Well, I think that's the big concern that advertisers are having. I mean, you just said it, that what this does is it says you can't see, you end up not seeing anything.
I think you're going to start seeing more and more of this.
Yeah.
I mean, IE will be the first, but then others will come behind it. I mean, it's just. I was listening to a story yesterday about how how much your book preferences and reading preferences and even page, time you spend on a page on a Kindle are tracked. And it's just things you don't think about. And I think it's one of those backlash privacy issues, and it's all kind of wraps together. So I think you're going to start seeing more of this, much to advertisers' dismay.
This article by Nancy Goring on Tech World, this is, I think, one of the salient points that I think content publishers and advertisers are upset about. She says, quote, that's because sites that users block from tracking them will also be blocked from displaying content. During the webcast, executives showed a pre-recorded demo of how the mechanism works. Once the feature was turned on and started blocking sites, certain content on the page that was provided by the third-party sites are no longer appeared on that page. Although what it doesn't block, apparently, it doesn't affect cookies that are built into Flash. There are tools that block Flash cookies, which tend to be far more insidious than regular browser-based cookies. But looks like IE does not block Flash cookies. Interesting. Worth checking into. I think you're right, Megan. The idea that these privacy tools, people are getting more and more aware of what information is being tracked. We need to keep finding ways to, we got to collect data somehow. As an advertiser, we got to be able to collect data somehow, but to do it in a way that's not quite so
intrusive,
if that's the word.
Yeah.
What's our tool of the week?
Well, in light of the holiday season, there's this. It's not really a tool; it's just a fun thing. There's a very fun gift wrap called Tweet Wrap. And you can customize this actually kind of ugly gift wrap with tweets, customized tweets. So for the Twitter lover on your holiday shopping list this season, I think this would be a fabulous way to wrap their gift of, I don't know what.
It's a what do you so I'm selecting my pattern.
Get started. Oh, it has more than one pattern. That's
yes. Mine's going to be a series of tubes. The legendary wrap.
It's all kind of ugly.
Senator Ted Stevens.
It's all very pixely looking, but then you get to select tweets.
Oh, this is awesome. So you can do like Happy Holidays, the hashtag Happy Holidays. I heart you, surprise, Merry Christmas. I'm going to do Happy Holidays.
Or you can do it by you can do it by username. That's the other cool thing.
Pound TNM.
Except I don't think this application likes Chrome so much because it's not working very well.
Look at that. I'm done. I have tags with all the hashtag TNM. That's a crazy thing.
Isn't that fun?
I'm going to do Megan Strand.
Oh, that's kind of scary. You'll hear about the bees coming out of my Christmas tree.
That's a horrifying thing. At Megan Strand, there it is. Series of tubes. I can't even read. Dr. Pepper Snapple joins Smart Way. Oh, it's all do-gooder stuff. Fantastic. That's a fun little tool. People should check that out. pages.samsung.com/us/tweetwrap.
It'll be in show notes.
And it's in the show notes. That's awesome. Anything else we need to talk about this week, people, or can we put a fork in it?
Put a fork in it.
Let's do it. Dane, where can people find you when you're not out on the corner shining shoes and ringing bells?
Yeah. Oh, you just reminded me. I've got to do that
Salt
today.
Lake is full on winter now, right? I mean, it's tons of snow and everybody's happy. Is that what happened?
Yeah, we got some new snow. We got 3 or 4 inches out there today. I skied last Saturday.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you're here today for the show.
I skied last Wednesday. I didn't ski yesterday when I was supposed to, so I'm a little sad about that. It was a powder day. We do have snow. It's beautiful. It's Christmassy here. Please find me on about.me/Dane Christensen.
No way.
Yeah, it looks good too. You should go see it.
I'm gonna.
He's fancy. I'm gonna.
Super fancy. Super fancy.
Have you seen mine?
I've seen yours. It's awesome.
It's old news.
It is sort of old news.
Look
hey, that was taken in my backyard.
That's your backyard.
That's my husband's shirt.
Right. that's my hungover face.
I'm the awkward fairy. My work is done.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I love it.
That took me a minute there, Pete.
Yeah.
Wow, you're in my backyard in my husband's shirt. That could be taken a lot of ways by people.
And I was taking the pictures. How great is that?
Should we just let that one hang without explanation? I like it. Let's just leave it there.
The backstory on that will be in the show notes. So About.me is another tool. Everybody should go sign up for that. It's, I think, having one of these, just a branded landing page is so great in this age of internet nonsense. Megan, where can people find you? Soon to be About.me/Megan Strand.
But not yet. I am on Twitter at Megan Strand, or my website is encouraged.com, and that's INCOURAGED.
Excellent. And I am at Pete Wright on Twitter, about.me/Pete Wright, where you can find links to all sorts of stuff. I've moved, most of my blogging right now is at petewright.co.
It is?
Yes. Huh. Yes. And so find me there and, talk to me. But you can learn all about the show, this very show, thenakedmarketers.com. Subscribe to the show in iTunes. That is the best way to ensure you don't miss a single episode of Naked Marketing goodness. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And on behalf of Megan and Dane, I'm Pete. And we'll catch you next week on The Naked Marketers.